डॉक्टर बाबासाहेब आंबेडकर ओपन यूनिवर्सिटी.
Namaskar and good evening, friends. Friends, today we are going to talk about MBA01 Principles of Management, Unit number 3, Planning, Block number 1, Types of Planning. So first we'll see what is in Unit number 3, Planning. Concept and nature of planning, planning process, types of planning, approaches of planning, planning premises, strategical consideration while planning, roadblocks to effective planning, forecasting, objective setting, management by objective with process, and strategies types. Okay. In previous lecture, we covered concept and nature of planning and planning process. In today's lecture, we are going to talk about types of planning and planning premises. Okay, types of planning. We'll start with types of planning. In organization has got choice when it comes to planning, as the activities of the organization before time to time, from event to event, criteria, the planning can also be differentiated depending on the importance of the content, elements of time, and the degree of formulation. Few are the types of planning which can be applied in the business organization. Corporate planning versus functional planning first. Okay. Corporate planning versus functional planning. Corporate planning is a type of activity which take place at the topmost level of an organization. The basic objective of corporate planning is to set up the long-term objective of an organization, which then can be passed on the various departments or strategic business units in order to achieve them. Corporate planning involves strategic consideration and decision making, as it is being done for a long term. Once the corporate planning is set, the organization can move on to decide upon various other types of planning to achieve the long-term corporate objectives. We're talking about strategic planning. Now, strategic planning versus technical planning. Strategic planning also set long-term directions of an enterprise and helps decide the various vision of the organization. In the words of Robert N. Anthony, strategic planning is the process of deciding of an objective of the organization, on changes of these objectives, on the resources used to attain these objectives, and on the policies that are govern the acquisition, use, and deposition of these resources. Strategic planning includes planning for growth rate in sales, diversification, expansion, changing portfolio of the product at certain areas. Now, proactive versus reactive planning. This type of planning is generally based on the organizational response to the environment changes. If a manager predict that is going to happen in future, what will be the effect? Then thus be ready with the preparation in advance. It is known as proactive planning. While if a manager makes changes after the change takes place in the environment, it is known as reactive planning. Thus, productive planning involves designing suitable course of action in anticipation of the probable changes that are going to take place in the near future in the environment. Now, formal versus informal planning. This classification of planning is based on the degree of formulation which is used by the managers to undertake planning activities. Formal planning, as the name suggests, it is well structured and designed process involving various steps to achieve any objective for any organization. Here, everything is clearly defined regarding who will do it, when it will be done, where it will be done, how it will be done, and so on. Formal positions are staffed by people from different backgrounds. Link engages managers, uh, something like statistical uh, uh, person, economist. These are the criteria. This is rational, systematic, well documented, and in this order. Planning premises. Okay. The term planning premises refers to a proposition started or assumed at the beginning of a deed. Using this term in the context of planning, it involves various assumptions on which plans are formulated. Since there are many factors which affect the implementation of a plan, assumptions are made in respect of factors. Therefore, there will be various assumptions on which a plan is formulated. For example, when a company introduces a new product in a market, it means assumption that the product will succeed by taking into account various factors which are likely to affect the product's success or failure. Uh, Kuhns have defined planning premises as planning premises at the anticipated environment in which plants are expected to operate. They include assumptions for forecasts of the future and known conditions that may affect the operation of plan. Thus, planning premises include both anticipated and known conditions under which plans are formulated. There are many environmental factors whose likely behavior are anticipated, but there are many inter-organizational factors like politics, facilities, etc., which are known at the time of plan formulation. Now, types of planning. External premises. Okay. External premises of the most important element in the planning formulation. These exist in an organizational external environment. Various external factors are grouped into five broad categories: economical, political, and legal, technological, and socio-cultural, and competitive. Second, now internal premises. Besides external factors, internal factors of the organization are also taken into consideration for plan formulation. Various internal uh, premises are related to uh, event occurring within the organization, like organizational structure, management system, human resource, etc. Such factors are lie in various functions of the organization, such as production, marketing, finance, and personal and management. Now, C. Tangible versus intangible premises. This there is planning premises may be classified as tangible, tangible and intangible. Uh, Tangible premises are those which can be expressed in quantitative terms like monetary unit or unit of product, labor hours, machine hours, and so on. Now, D. Controllable versus uncontrollable premises. Planning premises can be classified on the basis of the controllability. Thus, premises may be either controllable or uncontrollable. However, in between these two, there may be semi-controllable premises. Controllable premises are those that can be controlled by an organizational action. Now, limitations or barriers to planning. There are 6 limitations. Planning is a management functions is essential to every manager's organization, but there are some practical problems in proper planning. First, difficulty of accurate premising. Planning exercises undertaken under certain assumption of future events which are defined by the large number of factors in the environment. Thus, a limiting factors in planning is the difficulty of formulating accurate premises. Since the future cannot be known with accuracy, premising is subject to a margin of error. First, problems of rapid change. Another problem which is related to external environment is the rapid change which take place in the environment. In a complex and rapid changing environment, complications that makes planning extremely difficult often managing magnify the succession of the problems. Internal flexibilities. Managers, while going through the planning process, have to work in a set of variables. These variables often provides less flexibility in planning, which is needed to cope up with the changes in the future events. Such flexibilities may be either internal or the organizational or may lie outside the top major internal flexibilities are psychological, political and procedural and capital investment. Now third, external flexibility. Besides the internal flexibilities, managers are confronted with many external flexibilities and they do not have the control over this. First, political climate. Every organization, to a larger, greater or lesser degree, it faces with flexibility of the political climate exists at any given time. Attitude of government towards business, taxation, policy, regulations of business, etc., generate constraint on the organizational planning process. Second, trade union. Trade union plays a major role. The existence of trade union, particularly those organized at the national level, tends to restrict freedom of planning. Apart from wages and other associated benefits, they affect the planning process by putting limitations on the work undertaken by organization. Third, technological changes. The rate and nature of technology changes also present very definite limitations upon planning. An organization is engaged in its process with a given technology. When there is a change in technology, it has to face enormous problems resulting in higher cost of production and less competitive uh, competence in the market. Fourth, time and cost factor. Planning process is quite a costly and time consuming process. The various steps in planning may go as far as possible because there is no limit of precision in planning tools. Managers can spend unlimited amount of time in forecasting, evaluating alternatives, developing supporting plans, or attending other aspects of planning. Now, fifth, failure of people in planning. Apart from the above these factors, sometimes people involved in planning process fail to formulate correct plan. There are many reasons why people fail in planning at the formulation level as well as implementation level. Some of the major reasons for failure are lack of commitment to planning, failure to formulate sound strategies, lack of clear and meaningful objectives, tendency to overlook planning premises, failure to see the scope of plan, failure to see planning as a rational approach, excessive reliance on the past experience, lack of top management support, lack of delegation of authority, lack of inadequate control techniques, etc. These personal factors are responsible for either inadequate planning or wrong planning in the organization. So, with this note, we conclude our lecture. There are two main questions can be asked in from this lecture. Concept and nature of planning described in detail, and second, what is planning process or procedure of planning. So, with this note, we conclude this lecture. Will next lecture will be the continuation of this unit number 3 only. Till then, goodbye. Thank you very much.